What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's daily market recap. I'm going to go over my trades from this morning, and we're going to look at the condition of the overall market. Now, yesterday, the market pre-market was way lower. So we had this sell-off in the overall market that began on Friday, then continued into Monday pre-market. But when the bell rang, the market rallied. So yesterday, the S&P 500 gapped down, but then closed as a strong green candle. In fact, we actually broke below the ascending channel that we've been in for quite some time, but we closed back inside the channel. Today, the market opened a little higher and has now been pulling back just a little bit. So a little choppiness in the overall market, the way it's kind of positioned. Of course, we're coming into the inauguration next Monday, and then the first couple of weeks of Trump's presidency. It's just a question of what's going to happen. Are there going to be some big executive orders? How's the market going to react to all that? So there's a lot to be determined, and we can only guess what it's going to look like. So right now, it's just sort of kind of in reaction mode to what ends up happening. But nonetheless, when it comes to small caps, we'll jump onto the screen share. The first small cap that I got dialed in on today is a stock called ADD. That's the ticker. The company is Color Star Technology. At the time, when I sat down this morning at about 6:45, this was our leading percentage gainer. And so I looked at it and I thought, okay, well, certainly it's got a low float, less than 1 million shares. As of right now, the volume on this is, it's over 20 million shares. So it's got some decent volume here. But the problem was I pulled up the ticker and just checked and I saw, well, wait a second, it's not a biotech stock. Color Star Technology, I didn't think it was, but it's an entertainment and education company involved in providing online and offline music education, which is all fine, but is a little outside the theme of where I've been catching the biggest winners recently, which have been on biotech stocks. And if we look at the stocks that made the biggest moves yesterday, both of them were biotech stocks. So this morning, I was kind of excited because I was thinking, wow, we had some great momentum on Monday. I'm looking for a biotech stock here Tuesday morning that I can sink my teeth into and get a couple nice trades. But ADD didn't fit that profile, although it was the leading gainer. So I decided, you know what? I've got to just focus on the chart. The chart looks good, and I'm going to go ahead and break the ice and take a trade on it. So what I ended up doing is, if we look at this stock high level on the daily first, on the daily, I saw that it had done a reverse split back in November, has pulled back, and is basically at all-time lows. So this is a stock that's been very beaten up, and this can be a great pattern for a curl off those lows. The only problem is we have a couple of recent days where it tried to pop and did have higher volume selling. So I cautiously thought this could work, but I just got to be a little careful. So what I ended up doing is coming into 7 a.m. right here, we had this early squeeze back at 4:40 in the morning, pulls back, rallies up, pulls back, rallies, pulls back. And then all of a sudden here, we break over VWAP. We dip back down, and as we come back over VWAP right here, this was where I said, all right, I'm going to break the ice, and I'm going to take a trade. And I got a trade on this squeeze right here up to 290. It pulls back, and it taps 3. Now, I got my best exit just under $3. Unfortunately, this couldn't break through the whole dollar of 3, which was unfortunate. I thought that it would be able to, but it couldn't. Nonetheless, that was enough for me to lock up $5,810.21. So start of the day, of course, at 0, which I do every day as a day trader. And first couple of trades got myself up to 5,800, which was great. So I'm like, all right, I'm building a little bit of a cushion. I'm moving in the right direction. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Now, the only problem was ADD. I got a number of trades on it, but it wasn't the absolute cleanest, and it didn't squeeze through 3. But I sort of chalked that up to the fact that, well, maybe it's not really in the perfect sector, and maybe traders just not super into it. So this one pulls back, but the second leading gapper, which is currently still our leading gainer now in the market, is NMHI. So I pull up NMHI and Nature's Miracle Holdings. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a biotech company. I click on it and I scroll down, farm machinery and equipment manufacturing. Oh my gosh. I mean, I thought online music was bad, but this is really bad. So I'm not feeling super optimistic about it. But again, it's the leading gainer. So it popped up right here. And right at 7 a.m., I broke the ice, got a small trade on this. For the break, it was just over this pre-market high, which was about 318, and it goes up to a high of 340. Made a couple $100 on it. There's nothing really that exciting, but and ended up giving back a little bit of profit on it. But a small green trade. So, and I'm going to show you my P&L here in a minute, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through it in this on this little diagram first to show you a little bit of the drama that I went through today. So, made a little bit of profit there. Got myself up to like 6,200, and so I'm basically looking at what's moving, and then all of a sudden we get this pop on OST. OST hits the scanners, and I'm thinking, well, gosh, yesterday it popped up, did a complete reversal. So I don't trust it. It pops up, it pulls back, but then when it rallies back up, so I'm gonna get it on the 1 minute chart. When it rallied back up right here, I said, you know what? All right, I'll break the ice, I'll take a trade. So took a trade on that, made $1,200. I'm sorry, $1,800. So $1,800 on that one. All right, so now I'm up to 8,000 on the day. So 8,000, moving in the right direction. This is good. And I got a couple more trades and got myself up to a peak of 10,000. So peaked right about $10,000 on the day. And then things fell apart. They fell apart for me. AIFF. This is a stock that drove me nuts today. So here's the problem. AIFF first popped up on the scanner, and initially I was like, no, I don't like it. Why? It popped up the other day, did a full round trip. It's not trustworthy. Pops up here, pulls back. So I, reluctantly broke the ice on it as it came back up, and I got in at about 10 past 8. So that was this morning. Let's see, 10 past 8. So 8:10, it's going to be right around here. I got in as it broke back over VWAP. And I actually took a big position on this thinking we were going to get a squeeze through the high. But it stalled out. And I was like, what in the world? Do you see how it was grinding here? Just slowly moving higher, ever so slowly. This was not clean. This is not what I wanted to see. So just slowly moving higher. And so made like a couple hundred on it. It was not easy to trade. It pulls back, comes back up, and then I get back in and look at this rejection right here. You see that rejection? Boom, red. That one got me. That one got me for $2,000. So I took a loss on that, down 2,000. So now I'm back to 8K on the day. And then I took another loss, and the next one was a little bit worse, and I was at now 4.3K on the day. So I'm going to go down here. It was about 4.3, so 4,300. So the first loss was on AIFF, and then the second loss was on VRME. So VRME. So this one, I got stopped out on that nasty rejection at 4. I took too much size for the breakout. I got stubborn, and then it rejected. And then a moment later, I jumped into VRME, which basically had this rally up, sold off, broke VWAP. I jumped in as it was breaking VWAP here, was like, okay, here we go, squeeze through the high. And then look at that red candle, boom, lost $4,000 on that. And I was green on it, but then that flipped me from green to red. So here's my P&L. I'm sitting right now at $5,633.64. So after this big loss here, these two big losses, I kind of said, all right, is this the time to just walk away, to say I'm done? And the problem was it was like, 8:15 in the morning. So I was like, well, it's kind of early. So let's do this. Let's just be really aware of where you're at right here and trade with small size for the rest of the day. So brought the size down, trade a little bit more conservatively, and was able to rally back up to 5,300. All right, whatever. Is it 5,300? 5,600. So got myself, made $1,300 kind of up until about 10 a.m. when I just stopped trading, and I said, all right, that's enough. And, I'm okay with that, but I'll say today was a little discouraging because I was in a really good position, and then all of a sudden I got stopped out, pretty dramatically on AIFF, and then, within 2 minutes took another big loss and was like, wow, I just gave back, half my day in, a matter of 2 trades in 15 minutes, 10 minutes. It's that quick. So the tide felt like it changed a little bit. VRME, nasty rejection, AIFF. And then the most annoying thing on AIFF was that finally it did pull away, right? So then it does end up rallying back up. Of course, right? So this is, I guess it was 8:30. This is where I took that loss right there. And then it slowly rallies back up. but it was slow to break out, sort of slow to break out, slow grinder, and then finally the open, it pulls away. In fact, we would say that this was a classic, near perfect gap and go trade. Gapping up and then squeezing higher at the open, but I didn't trust it. I didn't have the risk tolerance to take any big trades on it up there. And so I didn't. And then you finally got that rejection off the top, which marks the high of day. So I think one of the issues today was that attention was a little bit dispersed. We look at volume, the volume's kind of split across a number of different stocks. You've got ERNA, which is a cheaper stock, up 156%. So you've got penny stock traders that are focusing on that. You've got NMHI, which of course has got 114 million shares of volume, very volatile there, but not super easy to trade. AIFF, AIFF, technically neurosciences, it is, but because of that recent rejection, I just was like, I don't know, can we really trust it? And then of course we also had the 200 moving average right there at 5. So, today was just a day where we didn't have one that was really, really awesome. And in spite of that, I was still able to finish in the green. $5,600 is nothing to be ashamed of. It's a green day. It's always a bummer to give back half off the top. And I gave back half off the top just about last Wednesday. And I guess I kind of maybe psychologically still feel, if we sort of, look at January here so far, that, I started, some nice trades. And then on that day on Wednesday, I had that big winner, but gave back almost half of it. So then, Thursday market was closed. So we had Friday, small green day, and then Monday, small green day. And then, Tuesday was kind of up here until, kind of gave back half of it. So I still kind of feel a little bit like I'm in the shadow of that loss from back here, even though technically, these were all green days. So I'm not actually in a drawdown, but I just know that on this day, I gave back a good chunk off the top, and I'm still kind of working on recouping that. It's sort of a funny mentality, but it's important to be able to remind yourself, look, whatever I'm at, it could be $300, it could be $500, it could be $1,000, it could be $5,000, like where I'm at, that's more than you had a couple hours ago. Sitting, here in your little home office, taking a couple trades, life is good. There's no reason to get bent out of shape trying to chase, to make a couple extra dollars on a day when the market's not easily giving up the gains, right? If there was going to be, and this is also the thing that's kind of funny. So yesterday had a pretty good day pre-market, didn't want to push it, left some money on the table, things kept going at the open. Today, didn't have as clean of a day, and so am I more inclined? So you would think on the one hand, I'd be inclined just to walk away early, and it's the opposite. You have a little bit of a tough day and you're like, I should stick it out to try to squeeze a little bit more out to try to get myself back to where I was. But this isn't the right type of day to push it. So you doing that, you're most likely going to just incur more losses until you get so frustrated, you just throw in the towel and you're like, I'm done. But when you get to that point of frustration, now you run the risk of being emotionally hijacked and just saying, screw it, I'm just going to buy 10,000 shares of this. I don't care that it just broke VWAP. You know what? I'm buying 20,000 shares of this. I'm going all in. And next thing you know, you're on a full spiral and you just went from green on the day to red, maybe even a max loss. I've done that before. And in hindsight, you think, man, why didn't I just walk away when I was, up a couple, whatever it was, 100, couple thousand, why not? And it's because in that moment, you weren't grateful for that. In that moment, you're only thinking about what you didn't have, not what you had. You're like, I used to have 10,000. Now I've only got 5,600 and that's not enough. I want to make back another 4,400. Who cares? I'll make $4,400 tomorrow. Make it the next day, right? It's easy to make it when the market's hot, when you've got good opportunities, and when you're really trying to squeeze it, when you're trying to force it, well, that's when you end up making mistakes. So seeing today, down about half off the top, but another green day, green 5,600, of course, before commissions. After commissions net, it'll be a bit less than that. Traded a bunch, churned shares, especially on these lower price stocks. So, in total, today's not a big win, but the whole idea is to ask myself early on, is this a base hit day or a home run day? And I thought it was a base hit day, but then all of a sudden when I was up 10 grand, I was like, well, I'm doing pretty well. Maybe I'm going to get more. And I stepped up a little bit. Maybe that was a mistake, but on another day it could have worked. It worked yesterday, right? So I can't beat myself up too much for that. But at this point, you have to have that honest assessment of, all right, is this a home run day? No. Home run days, you don't give back half off the top and then rally back up to a new high. That's just not how home run days work. Home run days start strong, big winners, big cushion, small losses, much bigger winners, and you just finish with, a great day. So today's not going to be a home run day, and there's nothing I can do about that. It's just not going to happen. So my best bet is to shut it down and come back tomorrow, to live to trade another day, because this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Yeah, I'd love to have a green day today or a huge green day, but look, if the market's not giving it up, it's not going to happen. So just got to wait and be patient and come back at it first thing tomorrow morning. And that's why I show up every single day, because you just never know when all of a sudden we're going to see a stock hit the scanner, start ripping up, and next thing you know, it's up 400, 500, 600, 700%. That can happen, just so fast. It's like all of a sudden, boom, momentum shifts, and we've got some big action. So I like to be here, so I'm ready to capitalize when that happens. And if it happens tomorrow, I'll be here. So if you want to watch over my shoulder, make sure you check out the 2-week trial. Link is pinned to the top comment and in the description. So I'll see you hopefully first thing tomorrow morning. I'll be streaming at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, see you guys in the morning. A reminder as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk, take it slow, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.